Language and concept warning.
You are now tuned in to Umami Nights. Umami Nights. Umami Nights.
Check, mic check. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Umami Nights, the show that dives deep into the world of creatives and hustlers out there killing the game. My name is Chong Ali. With me today, the one and only Nyan Tun, aka Captain Rap Snack, aka Young Boba T. Make some noise. Yo, I'm supposed to have like a NPC, I've decided.
Yeah.
But I can't because Mayhem and Conker's got it, man. I know, it's so rude, eh? It's unbelievable, man. Nyan is a rapper and creative who resides right here in Brizzy, originally from Logan.
Yes, sir.
And Nyan's just released an amazing EP called Kids in Space with his homeboy. Together, what do you call it? Together you call Bad Posture, but there's no space between bad and posture, which is so problematic for me, man. When I'm looking for it on Spotify, dude,
Yeah.
I've got to go to your Facebook. I'm like, man, where is this? Oh, it's bad. That's right. There's no space.
Yeah. It's no space, all capitals.
All capitals,
All
no
caps.
space.
Yeah.
You just no cap, bro.
I'm just, hey.
Yo, congratulations, bro. So just going through the EP, man, and I've listened to it back to back several times, man. What I enjoyed the most about it was it just felt like you have captured the traditional sensibilities of rap. It's like a mid-90s, boom bap style rap, but it's kind of like you brought it into the modern era with like the different production techniques and even the way the songs are structured. There's this whimsical kind of psychedelic air about it, man. Like, what was your process recording this EP, and was it like a conversation that you had with your partner? What's your boy's name again?
It's Darth, but also known as Beatrice the Kid.
Beatrice the Kid, that's one. Did you guys like set out and plan it from the start, like from the get? Like, were you guys like, we want to do like NERD, but like, like golden era New York raps over it kind of stuff?
No. So basically, we were in quarantine, but I was in Canberra.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was in a whole different city.
Right.
And so he was just making beats. He was listening to like a lot of Nerd.
Yep.
And, that Pharrell influence started seeping into these beats he was making. And then he just sent me a few, wrote my raps, laid it down, sent it back to him. And then, so the first song that we finished was Ice Cream Sandwich.
Yeah.
This is before we thought of the idea of a space theme. That's why it has a different name.
Yeah, right.
But I'll get into more of that later. But also, so yeah, we just did a few tracks, and then after we did a couple, we're like, oh, hey, how about we do a little space themed EP?
Yeah.
And then we just started, I guess, we just kept writing, and then the idea came to fruition. Then we just started piecing it together. Oh, well, he started piecing it together. I didn't really do much.
You just rap it.
Yeah, I just did my verses, and then that was that.
That's the good life, bro.
Yeah, because I'm just like, hey, he's the producer, the mixer.
Yeah.
And usually when we're together, I have like more what's the word? I got more time to like really, like more space to like be with him, and then like more ideas bounce back together.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah, yep.
In person, but because we weren't, all the only ideas I really had was just writing down my verses.
Yeah.
Instead of like maybe like, because I didn't really think about bridges or choruses, none of that.
Yeah.
So he did all that. Did amazing. I do like, because on Moon Dance, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of my favorites, by the way, Moon Dance.
Yeah, that's also one of our favorites.
It's so fun.
Because so the little hook I do, I freestyled that.
Yeah.
And I also freestyled because my verse, which is mostly like it was a refrain I did, and because that wasn't supposed to be on the actual track.
Yeah.
I had an actual verse on it, but we're listening to it with the refrain on it, and we're like, you know what, that resonates with us more.
Yeah.
Especially like my first line, which is peace in the galaxies.
Yeah.
I think that's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. Explain to me what a refrain is.
So I don't know. It's kind of just like that little. It's not like a verse, but like it's just me like just singing
Yep. Yep.
and just like trying to, I don't know, come up with anything in my head.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's kind of like a placeholder. Hey, like
Yeah.
you're trying to figure out a rhythm and like a pattern or whatever.
yeah, pretty much. Cause yeah, I've been doing that a lot more lately.
Yeah. Man, because I do a similar thing, right? When I'm looking for like the pocket,
yeah,
and then like it just feels like because you're in the moment, you're listening to the music, you're in the moment, you're not overthinking the lyric, and so you can just put whatever words that come to your brain that you feel, and then like even when I come back to it later, I can pluck words that fit in these certain areas that I feel like it hits.
Yeah.
Then I can sort of fill in the gaps around it.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, is that something that you were doing?
Yeah, so that's something that both he and I have been like trying to do a bit more lately.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you listen to Moondance, there's a part in like Dos verse where he doesn't actually say anything. He just mumbles.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. It was
'Cause,
fun, man.
Because he decided to not finish the actual verse because we're just like it sounds good.
Yeah. See, like this is the thing, right? The choices that you guys made, and some of the direction, it was just like I really enjoyed the risks that you took. Some of the verses just felt like that's enough. That's all you wanted to do, and it just fit because like you always filled it in with something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a traditional structure of like verse hook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was just like we could be just like one long verse. I'm like, you know what? That's good. That's it. You know what I mean? Like it was really cool and it did feel like there was a journey to it. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
you guys spoke about the actual journey through space and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and it felt like it was a bit of a journey.
Yeah.
Because it was unpredictable. And I was like, oh, these two space kids, man, like what are they up to and all this sort of stuff. It was fun, man. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really fun to make because it's our first project. you
Yeah.
know, and we didn't. It's not something we like planned from the beginning, as I said, and then the way it came out because when he sent me the first mix, I was in awe for like the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I'm listening to it. That's the only thing I listened to, and I'm listening to. I'm like, we did that.
Yeah.
We did it. Like this is what we made.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was insane because like I was when we finally released it, you know, I was here, but
Not in this very room.
yeah, no,
That'd be irresponsible because of COVID.
I was back in Brisbane, and I was just thinking about it, and we were talking about like our release, and like it hit me that like because for the first 2 years of me writing raps, recording, I could not rap on beat.
Yeah.
I could not rap beat on at all. And you know, to see where I am now compared to like when I was like 16,
Yeah.
it's inspiring for me.
Yeah.
It's incredible because I'm like this body of work is like because it marks like a new era for us. And I mean for us, each of our singles have felt like a new era because they don't exactly sound similar. There's similarities, but it's a bit different.
Yep.
Like from like you know our first single Sweet Potato to say Blossom, you know, and yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going
I think each sort of little project you do, or even each single, you guys are discovering your voice. Do you know what I mean? Like you're getting closer towards, I guess, who you are as artists.
Yeah.
And who you want to be, and I guess the message that you're trying to relay. There is obviously like you said, there's through lines, there's consistency through it, but I feel like Kids in Space, like your latest project, just feels like this delicate balance of like, this is what we want to do, but still having the freedom to explore where it goes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I really enjoy it, man. Like, and the production on it, dude. It's like, man, shout out to the homeboy, Dos.
Yeah.
Dos or Doth?
Doth.
Doth.
Yeah.
Shout out to the homeboy Doth, man. Sorry, I got your name wrong, man. I know, yeah, Beatrice, but yeah, Doth. Because like the production, I was like, it grabbed me straight away, and then even the little bits in the interludes and stuff, I'm like, man, this guy, he's got skills, son.
Yeah.
So Bad Posture is like a out the box, like the whole project was managed by yourselves, or the production,
Yeah.
the recording, the mixing,
Yeah.
mastering, and then even down to the release. You guys did everything from go to woe.
Yeah. So basically, we do everything,
Yeah.
right? So we do the creative side, we do the whole business side, which is really annoying, but
Yeah,
it's what we got to do. Because we like having control of what we do in our work.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be like these other rappers who they have this like certain persona, to them, you know, because they need to look professional. They need to like have a certain look to them. Whereas for us, we're just being us. You know,
Yeah.
that's our whole motto. That's what we learned from our heroes.
Yeah.
You know, from the Tyler, the Creators, the Pharrells, the Kanyes. That's
Yeah.
what we learned, to just be ourselves. And that's what, you know, that's what we're doing. That's what we want to do.
It's such an important message too, I think, especially in this day and age, like this authenticity and being who you are, because just existing, like, because you're obviously Asian
Yeah.
and Doth is African.
Yeah.
So where is he from?
South Sudan.
South Sudan.
Yeah.
And you guys, like, just by existing, you guys are representing, whether you're consciously doing it or not. It's just not something you'd normally see. I mean, now it's happening more often, obviously. You know, people of color are more visible.
Yeah.
But like, there's no obvious cultural references, or you're not using it as a crutch. It's
Yeah.
just this natural representation of like, yeah, this is my life. Like the albums, it's the concept of it is got nothing to do with, you know, any sort of specific cultural references, but
Yeah.
in the rhymes itself, it's like, yeah, man, I'm representing for my people. I'm this and that. Like you're giving your life story
Yeah.
without specifically leaning on that crutch. You know what I mean? And I find that's, without that, the music would be so, I guess it wouldn't be as interesting to me. Do you know what I mean? So like the whole being authentic, I think it's so important. If you're trying to follow trends, you know what I mean? If you've got a whole marketing team around you constantly telling you what to wear, what to say, what to do, who to hang out with, it's like, man, you're pretty much a slave to the game, man, you know? So I think you're on the right foot, man, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing, because I don't want to be a slave. You know, that's why, like, we really want to make this music thing work, because then we can be our own bosses. You know, that's why we started, I mean, yeah, we pretty much started a label, right? Good Possum Records. You know, for the moment, that's just something to distribute our music through. But later, you know, we want to actually sign artists, but not just, you know, musical artists, but talent across the board in all creative aspects, because that's what we are. We want to branch out. You know, we do branch out, because, you know, I do photography, we do film. You know, we're not as great in those fields yet, but we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we learned from everything that we've seen. Because, like, you know, someone like Pharrell or Kanye, you know, they've entered the fashion market. They've entered, you know, different sort of things beyond just their music, and that's what we want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's important as creatives to explore different avenues as well.
Yeah.
You know, like you might come into the game as a rapper, but you never know where it could take you. Because, I mean, just off my experience alone, like rap has opened up doors for me to go to different areas of creativity. Like, you know, you spoke about fashion. Like, I've only just started, you know, like getting into the fashion game too, man.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay. And knowing what I've learned from music and rap, you know, like taking that creativity, that creative energy, and applying it to fashion is like, it's, man, you will see like there's so many similarities to it. Like you would know, like with your photography, and it's like you see so many similarities. Like, oh, that is the same as this. It's just done in this way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like, I think it's so important for creators, man. Like, get out there and try different things. Like, it's okay to suck.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, everybody sucks at the beginning, man. Like,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
everybody's too afraid to fail. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, you're gonna suck, bro. It's all good.
Yeah. See, yeah, that's like, you know, that's part of our message, right? We just want to show people and prove to people that you can do whatever the fuck you want, regardless.
Yep.
Right? You might suck in something, but, you know, you just keep working at it, you will get better. Like, you know, like I was talking about how I couldn't rap on beat for like almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Now look at me.
Yeah.
I'm killing everything. I'm killing anything. Like,
Yeah.
you give me a beat, I'm
Yep.
gonna kill it.
Yeah.
You know?
Proof positive. I remember I sent you that one for the East Mode mixtape that we're gonna do. We're gonna drop after this EP. For the listeners that don't know, we're working on a project called East Mode. Me, Swillo, Dano, and Mayhem and Conquer, and then we're gonna work on, I guess, a mixtape after that where we're gonna try and feature, like, you know, lots of talent and stuff.
Yeah.
So I sent a beat out to Nyan. I sent the same one to Big Vu,
Yeah.
and both of you guys killed it. Nyan sent back like 4 verses.
Yes, I did.
I was like, man, homeboy's trying to kill me on my track. He's trying to bury me on my own track. But I was so impressed, man, because that was the first time I guess we've sort of collaborated on anything. I think that was even before we did the residency thing, right? Was that before or after?
Yeah, that was before.
Yeah. I was like, dude, oh, that's right, yeah, because I remember I got that little WinZip package, and I was like, damn, this kid is hungry. You know, he's on point and he's saying some real shit.
Yeah.
Like you're bleeding your heart through your rhymes. I'm like, damn, I feel this shit.
Yeah.
And it's I hear the hunger as well. So it's like when that residency thing came up with Briz Asia, I was like, man, I've like earmarked your name.
Yeah.
And I hit up old mate that was directing. I was like, yo, we need to get this kid in. You know, it's just so I could spend more time with you and just go, okay, this is game that I learned. You know, I want you to have it so that you don't have to learn it, like take that much time to learn it that I did. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So after this bad posture stuff, this EP, this latest EP that you've got, what are you working on? Like, is there more photography projects that you're doing, or is, you know, Doth doing some production projects? Like, what are you guys doing to expand your networks, or, you know, involving yourselves into other projects?
So right now we're just working on new music. So
Yeah, nice.
like just different sort of music. So we have so our mates, this group called Ruin, you know, from the Swish scene, and one of the members is working on a solo project. That's just like mostly him and like collaborations with people he knows. So, you know, they sent me a couple beats to feature on, and yeah, obviously I killed it.
Yeah.
So we got that. Who knows? I might be on more tracks, but
Yeah, nice.
so we got that. But for us, we're just working on. So we had this one track, just straight up raps.
Yep.
Just straight raps. Because what we want to do is we want to, because, you know, we went out to space. We did that.
Yeah.
Now we're trying to bring it back to Earth.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to bring it back to Earth. So we had this one song just for the rap. So we're working on this one song over this Timberland beat over, I think it's Can We by SWV. I think that's, yeah. So we're rapping over that. Yeah, that's an R&B song.
SW Sisters with Voices.
Yeah.
Dude, that's like 90s, man. Like, all right.
Because you know, Timberland, that's like one of our heroes, especially when it
Yeah,
comes to sound.
definitely.
Because his sound,
Definitely.
right? Even back in the like, you know, in the 90s, his sound sounded like the future.
Mm.
You know, it still sounds good today.
Yeah, yeah.
It still sounds fresh.
Timeless.
And you know, so we're taking that beat. You know, that's an R&B track, but we're twisting it.
Yep.
You know, because I had this verse on it, right? And it's like, you know, I'm rapping. I sent it back to him. Then we came back together. I was in his studio, his home studio, and we're working on it. And he was like telling me that like he wants to, you know, rap about something, you know, because I was just rapping, you know. He wants to rap about something on it. So I'm like, okay, let me try to come up with something. So you know, he showed me like this little like this chorus or bridge thing he did. I'm like, this sounds beautiful, you know. He's talking about like you know, like the crime, the, you know, just a bunch of just different stuff that like we as like people of color, or like him especially as a black man, you know, or like the people he knows that they go through, like what they have to do to just survive out here. So, you know, I took that idea. I thought about where I grew up in Logan. You know, I grew up around so many like drug dealers and crackheads, you know, a lot of them, two opposite ends of the spectrum. You know, I wasn't really involved in any of that growing up, but I saw it. I knew about it. And I came up with a verse real quick, real easy. And I'm a bit sad about it because like my actual verse that I did, the original one, incredible. Like I was like, I'm spitting.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, oh.
What a waste.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm like, this new verse.
Yeah, yeah.
But then also, I'm doing a little singing on it,
Oh, really?
right? I'm not a good singer, right?
Yeah,
Mind
yeah.
you, not at all.
Yeah.
But, you know, I want to let the emotion out.
Yep. Gotcha.
And that's what we're doing. Like, we're doing these little refrains. We're doing, like, these little things. Because what we want to do is just really bleed on the track,
Yeah.
you know? Because, like I said, we did the space thing. Bringing it back, really trying to plant these seeds of, like, just, you know, of, like, these messages that we want to spread.
Yeah.
Or, like, these ideas. Because, we represent a lot of things as two kids. One being Asian, one being African. So it's like we don't be boxed in as just that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be known as that. Oh, that's the Asian rapper.
Yeah.
From Logan. Nah.
Yeah.
I am that, but I'm more than that, and that's what we're trying to do with the what we're trying to do with Kids in Space, and what we're trying to do with our future music.
Yeah. I feel that, man. Like, so how did you guys actually meet? So you grew up in Logan. Did you meet Doth in Logan as well? Like, you guys go to school together? Like, what's the deal there?
Yeah, so I went to McGregor State High School.
Shoot, represent.
Yeah. He lives in the Swish, right? So that's far. But we met in high school, grade 10. He moved from, so he was at Runcorn, I think. And then he came to McGregor first. So we met in grade 10. We didn't really become friends until grade 11 because we had math class together. And, we were in the lowest math class, right? I just want to put that out there, right? We were
Stereotypes aren't true.
Lowest math class. I am Asian, but I am bad, all right? So we...
Oh, you creative Asians.
Yeah. So we met in math. So we became friends then. We used to just write raps in math class. We had this song we did late 2016 called Pursuit of Happiness. It was the first time he ever made a beat. It's not good. My raps on it, not great. But it was the first time we ever collabed. And I think that's what really kind of set the foundation of what would become a few years later. Because, in that song, I say, sitting in math class, writing raps, trying to perfect my craft. Teacher mad that,
Yeah.
Because the teacher was getting mad at us.
Yeah.
We're just chilling. We're not really paying attention. Despite being in the lowest class, we still didn't do that good.
I think they expected though.
But I'm like, it's whatever. But so in high school as well, we had another mate. He did he rapped as well. I had a couple other friends. They didn't rap, but they can rap, right? Like Wisdom.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like he can rap.
Shout out to Wisdom.
So back then I had this idea called the Soul House Society, and it was just this group of just like a collective of kids who happened to be quite decent at rapping.
Yeah.
Except for me, because I couldn't rap on beat. But that aside, right? It was this idea. It fell apart straight after high school.
Yeah.
After high school was dead.
Yeah.
I went to uni. I didn't know what to do. I'm studying psychological science, psychology. I'm sucking at it. I'm failing. I failed two courses, whatever it's called, in the first semester. I'm like, oh shit. I can't tell my family this. So, I'm like pretending, to my family, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing all right. I was bad.
Damn.
Between that, my mental health was fucking just it was bad. It was just falling apart.
Yeah.
Cause I'm becoming an adult, and all these these shifts and changes in my life. Cause my parents, after I graduated from high school, they moved to Canberra. They moved back to Canberra. So I had to move in with my brother, his wife, my other brother. It was a weird transition, cause I didn't really see them growing up. So them a couple of times per year. These are my family, but I felt like a stranger. I still feel like a stranger sometimes. And it's been a couple years now. So, 2018, uni, doing this, terrible year.
Yeah.
But then towards the end, we so I met Iconic in uni.
Yeah.
Right, the rapper Iconic.
Yeah.
I met him there. We became friends. He tells me about Visible Ink.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the youth space in the valley. So I'm like, hey, I was like, we should check it out. Check out the little studio that they have there. I booked it out one time. I think I can't really remember what was happening. I think, and then we just he had these beats. He was making these beats, and then the first song that we recorded was Orange Juice.
Yeah.
That was the first song, but it was different. The beat was the same. His verse was the same, but I had a different verse, and we had our white mate on it. He had this really the song's all calm, chill. He was going spastic on it,
Yeah.
He's going ham on it. I'm like, all right, buddy, relax. Yeah. So we recorded that. I didn't like my verse. rewrote it. That's what I have now. The verse that's out. But then we did Sweet Potato as well. So we did Sweet Potato. So my mate that's on the chorus, the hook on Sweet Potato, he's the one that did that, that spastic verse I was talking about.
Yeah.
So, he does the hook on that, on Sweet Potato. We do that song, turns out pretty good.
Yeah.
So we drop it, on SoundCloud, just like that.
Yeah.
Cause the thing with that whole process was like, we didn't have a name at first.
Right.
We tried to come up with a bunch of names. They all sucked.
Give me some examples. Give me some examples of what you came up.
So I can't really remember.
You just wiped it from your memory because it was just so bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
We had a similar thing too, man. When you try to like come up with a name, it's so hard, man. Yeah. It's better when it's given to you, hey?
Yeah,
like, it's just like, well, that's what they call us anyway.
Mean, yeah, that's like when I first came up with my rap name, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just use my birth name.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like, ooh. But shit, what was I saying?
So you dropped it on SoundCloud. So Sweet Potato, you dropped it on SoundCloud.
Yeah, so we dropped that on SoundCloud. The week, the week or so prior to that, we did a video for my solo song "River They Love" that features my mate from high school. She didn't want to be named, so I gave her the really cool name Firewater Magic.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Right?
I love that.
Because that's what it sounded like to me when I was listening to it. When she sent the her verse back, I'm like, Firewater Magic, that's it.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it was really easy to come up with a name for her.
Yeah. You should be like a professional name maker or something. Like the Wu-Tang name generator?
Yeah.
You could be that, man. So Firewater Magic?
Yeah, so because we did a song, so we did that song a year prior to actually doing the video.
Yeah.
She didn't want to be in it. I'm like, all right, cool. We did the video at Roma Street, Parklands. Really cool video. It's the only one we've done so far.
Yeah.
But we do plan to do more.
Yeah.
So, we don't know which songs yet. We have an idea for Sweet Potato, right? Something involving green screens.
Nice.
But yeah, because Duff came up with the name Bad Posture though.
Yeah, it's a great name.
Yeah,
I love that name.
I think his story about how he came up with it. I think he heard it in like in a Nirvana song or something.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I got bad posture," and then that's it. That was that.
Yeah, it's so universal. Like anyone that sits at a desk or sits at a computer, I'm like, man, I can relate to that.
Yeah, it's just like bad posture. We both have bad posture, especially him because he's like 6 foot something.
Yeah.
And he's always just arching because his back is terrible.
Come on, Duff. Do your stretches. Do your yoga, son.
No.
You're too young to have bad posture.
But so we dropped Sweet Potato. We were going to do a video. That didn't come up into fruition. And then a couple months later, we finished up Orange Juice, dropped that. And then we just went into like this really, really just low creative slump. So, I was having like, so I don't know what he was dealing with, but so my mental health was reaching its peak, right? A peak of like destruction.
Yeah.
So I'm like having panic attacks like every second day or so. I can't go out in public. I'm like shaking. I got these really bad trembles. I still do sometimes. Like when I'm on the bus or something. And I'm like, okay, I'm like really depressed. I don't know what to do. So I ended up going to therapy. Shit's expensive.
Yep.
But I go to therapy. First few times, it's whatever. But then that's when I learned I had PTSD from childhood trauma.
Right. And
it shocked me, right? Because I honestly thought that PTSD was only something so...
Yeah.
So this has gone through my head. I'm like, what the fuck? And this is seeping in through my creative slump. So I'm like, creatively, I don't know what to do. I don't know, I'm like going through this shit and, I'm in uni. So I dropped out of uni, right? To go back, to rewind.
Yeah.
I dropped out of uni, when I was doing psychology. I dropped out like mid-year in 2018 or like, I officially dropped out towards the end of the year. I stopped going mid-year.
Yeah.
But I dropped out.
You just finished the paperwork by the end of the year.
And then for some reason I thought, you know what? Maybe if I study something I like, maybe I would enjoy it. So I ended up going to JMC Academy to study film, but 2 months in, my mental health and everything else is just like, I can't do it. So I dropped out of that.
Mm.
And then, you know, I dropped out of that because I was like, you know what, I'm going to focus on my music. But then the whole, you know, creative thing, my mental health. So I think it's about July, Doth goes to Perth, right, to help babysit, take care of like his brother's kids for a bit while they're doing whatever they're doing. I go to Canberra to just recollect. You know, both of us are just trying to find ourselves a bit.
Yeah.
And then he comes, so like I spend like a month there. He spends a month in Perth. We come back to Brisbane, we talk, and so we had like the foundation of like a few songs, including Blossom. We had the foundation of that, and I was like, we should finish this, right? Because what we're talking about, right, the whole blooming thing, the whole water your seeds, because you know he has that little refrain where he just repeats that towards the end of the song, and it's just like, that's what we're doing. We want to bloom. We're trying to come into ourselves. You know, we're still growing. That's our whole thing. We still are growing, but we wanted to mark that as a whole new era. That's our longest song. It's like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
We came back with a 4-minute song.
That's unheard of these days, man. That's double the amount of time that there's songs on the radio nowadays, man.
So we came back with a 4-minute song. I have 2 verses on that. I wrote the chorus and my 2 verses. So I take up a bulk of that song. Because I just, you know, blossom out the dirt, shine where it hurts. Cause I was going through some shit.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's how Blossom came to be. I'm just like, I want to finish this, and we want to push a message out there to, you know, we don't really have listeners. You know, we don't have a great following. You know, it's not big. But to anybody like our friends or whoever was listening to it, it's like, you know, I want to remind them like, yo, you're not alone. You know, we're all still growing. We're still blooming. No matter how old you are too. Yeah. Like, you know, because like a lot of you know, my friends and stuff, we're all, you know, late teens, early 20s. So we're in that transitioning period from teenager to adult. And, you know, what we're told, right, is there's this belief that, you know, you got to have like everything figured out. You know, you have to go to uni to like find a real job. But obviously I was like, fuck that. Dropped out twice. Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm going to carve my own journey. I'm going to carve my own destiny. Because like my parents, my brothers still want me to go back to uni. But I'm like, I've dropped out twice. I don't need to be in more debt. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So, yeah, I just want to push that whole message of Blossom. And, you know, that whole messaging is still through our music, but it's from a more personal perspective. Because my verses on that aren't too personal, except for the second verse, where I'm talking about, like, you know, even if there's shame brought upon my family name, because I got issues with my family. You know, my brother, so one of my brothers, I have 3. One of them is the reason, you know, my mental health is as bad as it is. Because as much as I love him, he terrorized my childhood. Yeah. You know? Yeah. He said, you know, certain things. He beat me and stuff like that because, you know, he wanted me to be more like him. But I'm not. I'm not like anyone in my family. I'm this creative kid. You know, I write, because I used to write poems and shit. I used to write, you know, I do art and shit. And it's like, to them, it's like, who the fuck is this? Yeah. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just trying to be me. And that's, you know, that's where I'm trying to go now, too. Yeah. But just me, because I'm moving out soon, too, with my girlfriend. And I'm just trying to find who I am, because I'm still looking for that. You know, and you might never find it. I might never find it. But if I can get closer to it, if I can get more pieces, then, well. Yeah. You get closer to it. Man, heavy. So I went off on a tangent. I'm like, oh.
No, it was great, man. It was fantastic, man. Let me just pause it right there. We'll take a break so I can make sure that I captured all of that goodness, man. And then we're going to be back right after this break with Nyan Tun, a.k.a. Captain Rap Snack, a.k.a. Young Boba T from Bad Posture.
Language and concept warning.
How professional of me. This is what it's like at the Umami Night Studio. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Umami Nights Part 2. with Nyan Tun, aka Captain Rap Snack, aka Young Boba T. Make some noise. We're back, baby. We're back. Before we left, man, we were getting to deep waters about Nyan's creative journey, his personal stuff. Lots to do with mental health, the situations revolving around your state of mind. It obviously affected your studies, the future of your near future, just out of high school and stuff. But I wanted to backtrack a little bit and so you grew up in Logan?
Yeah.
And your parents are from where?
So my parents are from Myanmar. Or Burma.
Myanmar. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where my family's from.
Yeah.
But they, our country, our home country, right? That's just engulfed in civil war, civil conflict, and so, it's not getting better, right? Despite what some people like to tell me or like the media likes to say, it's not getting better.
Yeah.
Our leader is a false prophet because when she was freed, she was supposed to change shit. But the only thing that's changed is that it's become a semi-democracy.
Yeah.
But what the fuck is that?
Yeah. What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
But, that aside.
So your parents left Myanmar for Australia?
No. So they, so my family, they're originally from Myanmar. My mom's from like a more poorer side of the family. She never had an education. She had to take care. She has like so many siblings. She had to take care of them. Her mom, because her dad died. Her real dad, 'cause she has like a stepfather now. But her first husband died. So she had like 2 kids with him. So that's my 2 eldest brothers that I currently live with. So after he died, she met my father sometime later, and then he was a soldier in the war. He was like a medic or something, and then shit happened. They ran away to Thailand. They stayed. So this is this little like town, mountain town that's near the border of Thailand and Myanmar, from where our family is from. And this side, right? There's 2 sides to the town. There's the Thai people and then my people, and specifically my people are the Mon. Yeah, that's our ethnic group. That's that's who we are, and that's what we identify as. So on that side, this flourishing Mon community, but shit's still not great. I don't know why they decided to come to Australia. I mean, I guess for obviously better life for all of us, because the shit my family went through, I could not imagine.
Yeah.
So, all this happens. And this is how my dad actually came out with that last name. So, Tun, right? That's my dad's family's original last name, right? Tun. And that means, I think, to be like, to prosper or something like that. I can't remember what it exactly means, but so I recently learned, right, from like last year, he had a conversation with my sister-in-law, and he was telling her about how we came up with our last names. Our last name's Ung Hin. And what it meant for him, right? Because he just randomly came up with it for us so that we could leave, so they could leave. And for him, it marked like new beginnings, a future, away from, the militia of like the Burmese army, away from all of that. So we came here. Our name is not real, my last name is not a real like Burmese name. It's not a real name at all. So for me, that feels really special, I didn't use it as my rap name because it's long and just it's personal for me. It's too personal for me to use. So I chose, our original name. And yeah, it's just, they came to Australia in 1998. They met this white woman. She helped them. I was born 2 years later. And then because of the white woman, we moved around. So we went from Canberra to Bundaberg.
Mm.
And my only memories of Bundaberg, so I was 4, my only memories of there are racist white kids. That's my only memory. I'm 4. It didn't like register until I was older.
Yeah.
That these kids were racist. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, because like to me, it's like, how can a 4-year-old be racist?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how's that even real? How's that possible? Obviously, being older, I learned these white families, these white parents like to instill out these outdated ideologies. Yeah. So, you know, and then eventually we come to Woodridge when I'm like 7. We go to this one house, stay there for a while. We moved into these units. And in between moving into those units, the white woman, she just left.
Right.
She left. She took a bit of money.
What?
Yeah, we didn't do nothing about it. So she took a bit of money while we're like in, you know, this transitioning period where we're in the middle of where we're moving. So I'm like, my family's already poor, right? We didn't have a lot of money. My mom's a cleaner. My dad became a driver instructor. So, you know, afterwards we did okay for a while.
Yeah.
You know, my mom, she's still a cleaner.
Yeah.
She shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Cause before she went back to Canberra, she had a back injury, right? She had a back injury due to her work. 'Cause she was a cleaner at UQ, and she was in hospital for some time. And now she's went back to Canberra. I thought, you know, I was thinking they're going back to Canberra because my uncles, my auntie, my cousins live there. I'm thinking, you know, she's just gonna live with them. Nah, because I thought my dad was supposed to go back to Thailand, right?
Yeah.
Because he wanted to be a monk. That's what he wants to do. Because he doesn't like, you know, this whole, you know, hustle and bustle of like the city.
Yep.
You know, so none of that really went as I thought it was going to. But you know, that's that. I grew up in Logan, like, you know, as I was saying, I grew up in Logan. So I lived there since I was 7 up until 17. I didn't really, you know, I heard about I heard a lot of stories growing up, and to me, right, I didn't realize that it wasn't normal until I was in high school, right? Because in high school I went to McGregor, so that's far, you know, that's a bit far out from Logan, like a 20-minute drive. But
It's a nice school. It's a good school.
But it's different, right? So these kids, they make fun of me. They're like, "Oh, you're from Woodridge."
Yeah.
I bet you like, you know, a lot of people thought I did drugs.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm 13.
Yeah.
And it's my first year of high school. They're like saying all this shit. I'm like, what? You know, because like there's a couple kids that went there who are also from Logan, but for some reason they didn't get the same kind of like treatment. Because for me, I really embraced where I grew up.
Yeah.
You know, because like Woodridge, that was a big part of my identity. That's a big part of like what made me who I am. Because, you know, listening to hip hop music, listening to like all this shit, it's like that's where I learned it from. Because where I lived across the street was this like, so it was a hybrid, right? It was just like this streetwear store, but it was an internet cafe as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, yeah, and he sold like, I don't want to say, I think they were bootleg CDs, you know? He sold some like bootleg stuff, right?
I was just about to ask you to name the store, but we can forget that. We can skip over.
No, I'm not going to say that because he's got more stores now. It's no longer an internet
Yeah,
cafe.
right. Okay.
So, you know, he's got business.
Yeah.
So, you know, that used to be across the street and that we used to spend time there because we didn't have internet until I was about 11, 12. So we used to spend, you know, a couple $2 there like every week. I used to just chill. That's how I got exposed to the internet. Because I had these neighbors, cool people, bit older than me, like one couple years older. I had an issue of being alone. So my mates, right, they're Christian, and then they'd go to church, because they went to like this islander church, right, because they're Polynesian and whatnot. Okay, so I'm like, okay, I hated being alone. So on Sundays, I'm like, I'm gonna go to church with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, Christians, like Christian churches, they're cool. Like it's cool, but you know that I was really questioning everything. It's like but it was cool. It was like to me at the time it was whatever. But at the same time, you know, going to school, there were these other Christians, right? And they're from where I'm from, but they're from a different state, they're a different ethnic group. You know, there's no Mon people in Queensland. None except for my family. So the Burmese people that are here are either Chin, Karen, or like somewhere else. A lot of Chin people. I love the Burmese community. But at the time, I didn't want to associate with any of them.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a couple of them, they try to force their views onto me. It's like, you know, because they're Christian, right? And the reason why they're Christian is because when the British came to Myanmar, you know, they did what British people do.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to expand on that.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody
what
knows, you
yeah.
know. So, you know, they're saying this and that. They sent me these like anti-Buddhist videos.
Really?
I'm like, yo, this shit is... I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like...
I love it.
Okay, sure. So that for a time I had like a really big disdain for them and for like Christians, despite the fact that I was still going to those churches.
Yeah.
But you know, it was cool. Also with those Chin people, right? Because you know, I was born in Australia. I was born in Canberra. They had this. They like to call me a fake Burmese. Because one, I can't speak my language, right? To be fair, they speak a different language as well. So I'm like, I don't know what your beef is.
Yeah.
But I'm like, so that, you know, they call me these things because I'm like, you know, I don't speak language. I'm like, okay, but what does that matter? You know, I still, you know, I'm still Burmese at the end of the day because that's where my family's from. And I still hold a lot of that culture in me. So it fucked with me for a bit.
Yeah.
You know, because I already had like a white woman who raised me for a bit before she, you know, dipped. So I'm like, okay. But, you know, so I don't really get along with a lot of those kids. And even into high school, did not get along with a lot of them. There's a lot of them at my high school. But I got over it eventually.
Yeah.
But I still don't associate with the Burmese community in Logan. Even though, you know, I'm cool with some of them, but
You still feel like an outsider.
yeah,
Like even in such a, I guess, a marginalized community.
yeah,
It's like you're an outsider of that community.
yeah, it's crazy because I'm like, all right, I'm an Asian, I'm Burmese, but I was also born in Australia, so I got these like conflicting, there's a conflicting identity,
Identity crisis.
right? Because I grew up around Islanders and Africans.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I grew up around. I grew up around, you know, we listen to a lot of hip hop. We listen to a lot of that. That's why, and then people think I'm American because of the way I talk sometimes. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's just how they talked and that's what I developed from them, what I
Yeah.
learned from them. So, you know, I grew up around them. Asians didn't really fuck with me, right? Because, like, especially, like, a lot of the ones who, like a lot of, like, East Asians, you know, like... The more light-skinned Asians, right? I'm not even that dark-skinned, mind you, right? I'm not. But I'm, you know, the light-skinned ones, right? The ones who like are pale and like they try to, you know, please the white people, right? They didn't really get along with me. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck y'all, right? I'm not an Asian stereotype like at all. You know, I might have some, you know, things like, you know, I got beat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you know.
Yeah.
You know, they expected things of me, but, you know, I'm not that. You know, I'm not that kind of Asian. I'm a creative.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't until later in life where I learned there's other Asians like me,
Yeah.
you know?
Black
And I'm
sheep
like,
Asian baby.
yeah, so I'm like, oh shit. This whole time growing up, I'm like, there's some Asians who actually, you know, care about shit. Because a lot of these, because, you know, realizing on social media and all this stuff is like a lot of Asians, right? Because anti-blackness is strong in our communities, you know, because, you know, white people came into like most of our country, like all of our country, like our continent, they instilled these ideas into us. And it's like, it's still, you know, it still remains in some of our ideas. And I'm like, fuck that, fuck them. They don't care about us. So why are you trying to please the colonizers? Why? You know? I'm like, fuck them. I'm gonna be me, right? And who I am Asian. I don't care what anyone tries to say to me. I am Asian, I am Burmese. All right? I am Mon. I can't speak the language, sure. okay? But I'm still that. I don't care. I'm an Australian. Australia hates us, but I know we can do better. Like, this country can do better.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way, man. Like, there's a thing that I've been really wrestling with, I guess, the last few years. And that is about finding the balance between Vietnamese and Australian for me, you know, because my family is Vietnamese, but I think somewhere along the line we were Chinese. So it's like, well, where do you want to stop? Like, are you Australian? Or, because I was born in Australia, so I'm Australian. But then I don't look Australian. You know, if you put me against, you know, your typical dictionary Australian, we go, okay, we'll go back one step. We're Vietnamese. But in Vietnam, it's like, you're not really Vietnamese. You go back another step, it's like, oh, you might be Chinese. But man, where do you want to stop? Until you go back to Africa. I mean, like, we all came from Africa, didn't we? You know, so the identity is like, until I think I figured out, like, man, it's what I want it to be. You know, it's like, yeah, man, I'm like what you said, man. Like, yeah, I'm Vietnamese because I represent my parents' culture and I'm proud of my parents' culture. And I'm proud to be Australian too, but I'm my Australian. I'm not like the typical whatever Australian you think there is out there, but like, I'm like Southwest Brizzy Australian. You know what I mean? Like, and my Australia looks like what you described in Logan, like Polynesians, you know, Africans, you know, First Nations, Indians, Filipinos. You know, like it was just such a rich cultural melting pot, man. And I had no idea that we were the only ones like that. I thought it was like that everywhere, all of Australia. And then I was like, well, why don't we see that on TV? Like, how come every time it's on the TV, like Home and Away, Neighbours, it's like, it's all just white people. I'm like, and then like, you leave, you go outside, you travel outside of like your little bubble and you go, oh my God, this is what the Australia, you know, like the rest of Australia is experiencing. It's just so, there is no diversity. You know, you drive a few Ks outward and like it's just Thai restaurants and like a few massage joints. And like that's what their idea of Asia is. I'm like, fuck, man. How do we fix this? You know what I mean? But I'm also a realist, man. It's like we are a minority. We can't spread out everywhere. Like, we just got to slowly build, you know, from our little, I guess, pockets of society, man. And we slowly build out, and whether we like it or not, man, we are educating the general public. Like, do it how you will. Do it through a podcast. Do it on radio. Do it through music. Do it through rap. Like, I feel like the more range of outlets that we have, the more honest representation we have. If we just take their slots, if we have that, there's one slot on Home and Away for one Asian person, let that one Asian person get on there, and then that's what Australia sees. Then it's like, oh, that's not me. That doesn't represent me. Even Crazy Rich Asians, the movie where all of the cast were Asian, I'm like, oh, they still don't represent me. You know what I mean? So it's like, we need, you know, people like Penny Wong. We need people like Ando. We need people like, you know, in Hollywood, like even Aquafina, like she's doing such a good job. Like, I feel like if there's anybody at the moment, it's like in the mainstream, she's one of the closest ones we got. People like Eddie Huang, people like David Cho. All of these people, like, they're just so completely different. And to me, that represents the true diversity that exists within like, I mean, Asian. There are so many Asian countries. Even in Burma, there's so many different ethnicities. I mean, it's like, and then you say Asian, like, so what does that mean? Like, I'm Vietnamese, like, you say Asian, like, in your head, when you say Asian, what do you see? Fortune cookies? You know what I mean? What do you see? Like Fu Manchus, like straw hats? Like, what is it? So we're just a minority at the moment.
The perception of like Asians really skewed because of media, right? Because you know, people think Asia, China, Japan, maybe Vietnam, maybe Thailand, maybe Indonesia, because they love going to Bali.
On a good day,
they love going there and getting and just like fucking up the laws there. They
making it their town.
I just see, because you know, growing up, right? I don't remember really seeing an Asian except for Jackie Chan. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
That's the big bro, man.
You know, I saw Jackie Chan and then Jet Li.
Yeah. Oh, they're both martial artists. The only way you can get on a movie is if you can fuck people up.
Yeah,
okay,
it's like,
cool.
because I realized, like, a lot of these movies I was watching is like, if they got an Asian, it's either they're really silent and they know kung fu, or, you know, they're the villain and their henchmen know kung fu.
Yeah.
You know, or we're the fucking joke.
Yeah.
We are the laughing
butt
stuff.
of the joke.
You know, and it's like, is that all?
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's more to it than that. You know, that's why
Yeah.
I love a lot of these movies that are coming out. Like, shit, what's that one movie? Tiger Tail. I think that's what it's called. It's on Netflix, right? And it's about like this man from, oh shit, I think it's Taiwan or
Okay.
something. And he leaves his wife behind, right, to pursue, you know, the dream, the American dream or whatever. And it's just like there's a lot of nuances to it. I haven't actually seen it. All right, I actually
You're already giving it the review.
Yeah, but like,
But
you
the
know,
premise, like
yeah,
the
whole
premise-
premise of it, right? I mean, I don't know if that's actual premise. I'm just like trying to remember, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, you know, it's really, as far as I know, because my girlfriend's seen it, right? And
Yeah.
it's emotional. That's all I know.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's something that kind of tells the tale of like, you know, an immigrant Asian family
Yeah.
beyond something, right? Because that's what I want to do eventually. I want to tell, you know, stories from the Asian perspective. Because, you know, when I was in Canberra last year, I just had this idea of like, you know what? I want to write a children's book, you know, but I want the character to be Asian,
Yeah.
you know, because growing up, not once did I see an Asian in any of these children's books that I read. It was either white people or fucking animals.
Yeah.
Right? Animals got more representation than us.
Yeah.
You know how wild that is to me? I'm like, what the fuck? You
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I want to change that because I want, like, you know, I want my nephews to be able to read books, to watch stuff, you know, to be able to listen to music that's by us, people like us, that look like us.
Yep.
You know, I want my kids to see that, my grandkids, you know?
Yeah. This is what I've realized with my music. You know, my creative pursuit or my creative journey. Only recently, because I've got this song coming out with James Mungohig. And what I wrote on it was very much a journey. I guess the journey of. I mean, I don't want to say too much because I don't know what he's doing with it. But anyway, the point is, when I wrote the song, I was like, this whole time I had this like urge to do music, and like because I'm not classically trained, I don't know how to play any instruments, whatever. Like, but I can write poetry. You know what I mean? And like, I couldn't even rap that well back then. Like, my voice was like, it's not that great, man. But I had to learn how to like, just like you, man. Like, I had to learn to use the tools that I have.
Yeah.
But like, it was such a struggle. I'm like, and I always question myself, like, what's the point of doing all this, man? Aside from the fact that I just have this urge to do it. Like, I just feel like I have to do this.
Yeah.
What is the point? You know what I mean? Like, because do I want props? Do I want people to like me? You know, do I want to be on stage? Because I love that feeling of, you know, like doing really well in front of people, and like, they're just like giving me all this like love and attention.
Yeah.
Even though it's like temporary and it just ends as soon as you know, like, but there's all these things. When I guess when I did that song, I was like, oh, dude, it's like storytelling.
Yeah.
We are telling a story from our perspective. It's exactly like what you said, man. We're telling our story from our perspective that our kids can look at, you know what I mean? Like, and go, oh, that's, you know, like that's, back then you'd like scribe it in stone or whatever. Now we can just MP3 wave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's, they can look at that and go, oh, that's what happened. Do you know what I mean? Like, my parents, they didn't have the outlet to do that because they were actually hustling to try and keep a roof over our heads and food in their mouths. They didn't have the luxury to like pursue a creative journey.
Yeah.
And you know, just by sheer luck, when I was born, like all of this stuff became affordable, you know, to like the everyman. So it's like, oh, I can do this. I can do this while I do that. Like, you didn't have to like dedicate. You didn't have to get a record label.
Yeah.
To get into a studio, get an engineer, all that. Like, you can still do that, but it's going to cost an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
This way, me and you can do this. We can just like put out music whenever we want. If it's good, people will like it. If it sucks, people won't listen to it.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of like the era that we live in, because coming out of high school, I was we were lucky enough to have a place like Visible Ink to go to, because we live in a time where like anybody could be a creative, like anybody can be a rapper,
Yeah.
and it's like,
And I think everybody is a rapper at the moment.
that's why, like, the competition is strong. But, if you're genuine in this art, because there's so many rappers that don't really care about the art,
Yeah.
and like, they're just like, for me, it's like, that's okay. Like, I don't care, right? Like, get your bag, do it. But, obviously, I have more respect for those who care about the art, who, breaks blood and sweat for the art.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do, right? Even on, like, tracks where I'm just, like, having fun on, because, like, when you listen to our music, especially, like, our first 2 singles, to the general audience, it's like, okay, it's just 2 kids having fun, because it's vibrant, it's colorful. That's what our music is. But behind the scenes, they don't know about, like, the struggles that we're going through, like, the fucking pressure that we have just trying to write something.
Yeah.
Like, because writing for me is easy, but when it's not, like, because I can't always write, but, like,
Yeah.
because I get these blocks, right? Creative, like, writing blocks. It's not always easy. There's like this thing of like, we all trying to get successful, but it's not easy. The journey is not easy, right? Because like when someone blows up, right? That's all we see. That's all people see. They see the blow up. They see the glow up.
Yeah.
To them, it's like, oh, okay. They've always been
Overnight
that way.
shit. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not. There's a lot of people that have been hustling for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I think like Big Vu, one of his posts, right? He was talking about how long he's been at it, and because when he was in Vietnam, doing all this shit, the things that he did, now he's here. He rebranded himself. That's crazy to me, but that's inspiring at the same time because he cares. I know he cares.
Yeah.
Because he's putting all this work in, and that's what I'm trying to. That's what we're trying to do. Because even if I don't want to become a Drake. Fuck that. That's scary, right? But I wouldn't mind becoming like an open mic eagle. He's successful, but he's not like famous. I don't want to be famous. I just want to live doing what I love to do and provide for my family. That is it. At the end of the day, what I care about is just trying to survive and do what I love doing.
Yeah. That's a really strong message, man. I really appreciate you coming in here today, bro, and sharing your journey with us, sharing, your story, man. Dropped a bunch of knowledge on us, man. I really appreciate that. Is there any last words you want to say? Anything you want to promote? Any projects coming out? Anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, I got some things to say.
Yeah.
Right. So, do you remember Shion?
Shion. Yeah.
Okay. So she does music under the name Quiet Element.
Really?
Yeah. So she does like some.
She does graphic design and stuff.
Yeah. She does all that. Multi-talented, amazing.
Wow.
I'm working on a collab tape with her.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that.
So it was just a random idea.
Nice.
I hit her up, right? And I was just like, hey, how about we make something together? She's like, yeah, okay.
How did you even know she made music?
Oh, I just like on her Instagram, she had like a link, right? And I just followed that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, hey, she does music.
Yeah, cool. So we met Shion through the Brisasia residency, and she was doing some graphic design work. I guess was it graphic like just stuff for I guess decorating the scene, the walls. I don't know, man.
Yes.
But yeah, that's really cool that you linked up with her, man.
Yeah, because I did a remix to one of her. Oh, it's not a remix, but like I just added a verse to one of her songs because like there was a little short 16 bar or whatever. I was just like, I'm gonna write to it. So I wrote it, recorded it, and then I sent it to her, and then she just like she loved it. And then from there, I'm like, you know what? We should work on a full proper thing together.
That's so dope. I love that, man. So what are you guys doing? Like, how far along is this project?
It's not at all. Yeah.
So you've just started?
Yeah, because I only just came back. And she is a busy person.
Yeah.
Like, she is busy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, when I can, like, get to, like, actually meet with her and then, like, really talk about it, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Because I know she has ideas. I know, because, like, she has a crazy mind. Like, her potential. That's what I want to do with, like, the label Good Possum, right? When I do find artists, I want them to tap into their potential and go beyond anything that I know, anything they know, Yeah. I want them to just really get into, like, something that's, like, the impossible. That's all I want to do. I want to really get inside, the creative mind of someone and just, like, let it out.
Yeah.
Let it just float,
Yeah.
it's just yeah.
That's dope, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with, man.
I mean, I got that. I got solo music coming too.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so
sweet.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier. Like, I was gonna mention, but so I have a solo single. So you know that Kid Min, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we talked it up a bit.
Dope. He's from Logan too, isn't he?
I have no idea.
I think.
Is
Oh,
he
he
from
might
Swish?
be.
Oh, Springfield.
Oh yeah, Springfield. That's right. Yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Springfield,
So he had this beat on his SoundCloud. I'm like, hey, this is pretty nice. He was like, do you want to rap on it? I'm like, okay. So he sent me a WAV file.
Yeah.
And I got like really emotional on it. Like, so, because I was in Canberra when I wrote it and I recorded it, the original mix, because I'm going to re-record it. But so the first two verses, right, and the chorus too, like my verse is really monotone on it, right? But what I'm saying is a lot. And I mumble the hook, but it sounds beautiful. Like I'm just mumbling, and it's just like I don't know what I was saying, but I just said it. And then the third verse, I cried during the third verse.
Yeah.
So you can hear me crying while I'm spitting my verse, right? And I'm like, because I break down after, like, as soon as I recorded it, I went, stopped recording, break down. But I didn't want to stop when I initially started crying. I didn't want to stop. I'm like, nah.
You're in the moment. Yeah.
Right? It's raw. It's real.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, fuck it. People gonna hear this.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my comeback. That's gonna be my like official, statement as a solo artist.
Yeah.
Is my emotions.
Yeah.
It's a long song, but I don't care.
Yeah.
This is who I am, right? And this is what I'm going to be saying. And that's that. I have another song with him, cause I hit him up one time, cause I don't realize how young he was. Right, I think it's like 15 or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah. I'm like,
You're still in school, kid.
yeah. I'm like,
You need to be doing your maths.
He's like, he's young, and I'm like, that's crazy, cause his talent, right?
Yeah.
Where he's gonna be like in 5 years.
Yeah. Yep.
But so I'm like, I want to test him. So I told him, hey, make me a 5 Fingers of Death type beat, right?
Yeah.
He couldn't really do the whole 5, but he did 3, right?
Yeah.
So it was 3 beats in 1.
Yeah. Sick.
I killed
Dude.
that shit, right? I'm like, yo, he killed that shit. No, he killed that shit. Like, he sent me like a first version of it. I'm like, this is okay. But then he sent it back to me like a bit. He added some extra things to it. I'm like, because he doesn't, because he's worried about sampling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I told him, fuck it.
Yeah.
Sample. That's the beauty of that's how hip hop started.
That's hip hop.
Man.
Yeah.
That's the magic of it. I told him, even if you're not good at it, just keep going.
Yeah.
I felt weird being like the mentor to him.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still trying to learn, right? But I'm like, I'm trying to teach him some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm like, so he sent me, I'm like, oh, yo, he's got some real talent. Like, I want to, and like when he started, like when I saw he made his YouTube channel, I'm like, yes, I want to promote this. I want to promote him.
Yeah.
Cause he's young and he's got it. He's got that talent. He's got that potential to be great.
Yep.
And I want to see that prosper. But yeah, so he sent me, the three beats in one song. I did that shit. I haven't shown him what I've done yet, but when I do, I know he's gonna flip.
Yeah.
What I did, crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. When's that gonna be released?
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
'Cause I right now we just want to keep promoting Kids in Space.
Oh yeah. Fair
But
enough. Yeah.
my first single, so the one I cried on, that's called The Calm, because that's the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Because I'm working on a solo project called Sunset Nightmares.
Nice.
And I've had that title since 2018.
Yeah. Right.
And now we're really working on it.
You're ready for it.
But before I do that, right, I have another solo project I'm doing. I haven't started on it yet, but it's the idea. It's because the Captain Rasnak name, right? That idea is a superhero alias. That's what
Okay.
that is, and that's what I want to do. So I
Right.
was listening to a lot of MF Doom.
Yeah. Bro. Yeah. You're an aficionado, man.
Yeah. So, I want to take the idea of like, so MF Doom, right? He has an album called Take Me to Your Leader under the pseudonym King Ghidorah, right? Where him and like his collaborators are the names of like the Godzilla monsters. So, you got like King Kong, you got like, different monsters. What I want to do with this EP, this tape, or whatever it's going to be, is it's going to be superheroes, right? Whoever I collab with, they have to create
Oh, that's so dope.
an alias,
Yeah.
right? Because to me, it's gonna be like a comic book, but a rap musical.
Oh, dude,
And
I
then
love it.
I want someone to be the villain, and I want the final track, or like the second final track, right, to be a back and forth between me and the villain.
Yeah.
You know, so
That's so dope, man.
I can't wait to start working on that because I got ideas just coming out.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
shit. I got so many ideas. I just went off on a tangent. I'm sorry, this is gonna be long.
Oh, no, you're good, man. You're good. Bro, it's not like we're paying for studio time, man. It's all good, bro.
Yeah. So
Bro, this is why I created this, is so we can have these conversations.
Yeah.
However long it goes, how it goes, man.
I got more stuff in the works. So last year, right, when I came back from Canberra, I had the idea of disconnect. So that's my group therapy
Yeah,
thing that I do. I've only done it twice so far, but when things start to settle a bit more, I'm gonna continue that because that's I created that as an event or platform for people, for me and my friends, or like anyone who, like, especially people transitioning to that period of like from teenage to adult, people going through shit, to open up, for the moment it's just casual conversation, but sometimes that's what people need, and I called it Disconnect, because Dolph gave me the name, but I gave it the meaning, right? It's because I want people to disconnect from any social media facade that they have. Any of that bullshit like that's from the online world, remove that. I want people to be who they are, in the moment. I just want them to be who they are. Forget, just, if you want to complain about like, work, you want to complain about school, whatever, do it. That's what this is for, because like, a lot of people are scared to go to real therapy. And I want this to be them to just be comfortable. And if it's like, you don't have to get deep, but if you want to, you can, right? Because for me as well, that's a way for me to learn more empathy. Because, I just want to learn. I want to learn perspective. Because then, that gives me more knowledge of the world as a whole. Because, learning from people, that's great for me. And it's great for, and it's great for them to just let shit out, It's for me to let shit out too. Like sometimes I just want to,
Yeah.
Because, there's so much things that I have in my head, but because like, I don't know, I can't always articulate it well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I go off of these fucking tangents sometimes.
Yeah, man.
And I lose my train of thought. I space out. I don't know if anything I'm saying is cohesive.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna keep going. That's what I do. That's what I do sometimes. I don't always do that with my friends, except for Doth, and occasionally my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a big circle, but I love my circle because I wouldn't be where I am without them, especially, like I was telling you, off air, my mate, or my brother, I like to call him Ishmael, right? He went to my first show that we had, the Bad Posture show at Flame and Gallo.
Yeah.
And, he's like my number one support. I didn't tell him about my music initially until like, I think, just a few weeks before Sunset Dreams dropped.
Yeah.
So we had 3 singles out already and a few loosies on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
I told him about it because I was scared. Like I didn't know what he was gonna react but I forget he's not like my actual family.
Yeah.
He's not like my blood relatives. So he was really supportive. He went to my first show. Aside from him, I also have my mate, Kelly Vo, right? I've known her since grade 8. When we first met, I had a crush on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had a crush on her for a while. Even but then like when the more our relationship developed, the more it grew. The less I saw her that way.
Yeah.
The more I saw her as like a good friend, like a close friend, a family member.
Yeah.
So now every time because like to a lot of people, right, I just refer to her as my sister because that's how I feel.
Yeah.
She's like family. I've known her for like 7 years now, 7 years deep.
Yeah.
And that's one of my longest friendships. And she's supported me since then. And she, even when like I couldn't rap, even when everything was bad, she's been there for me. She's been like, when I was like going through a lot of stuff, she's the one that suggested I go to therapy.
Yeah, right.
And she's been suggesting that I think since when I was in high school, but it wasn't until afterwards, to 2019 when I actually went. But it's because of her I am where I am, because her support kept me going. And I would not be where or who I am without her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but shout out to her.
Shout out to Kelly, though, man. Shout out to Ishmael. Shout out to Nyan Tun. Shout out to Bad Posture. Shout out to Doth, man.
Bad Posture.
Yeah.
Kids in Space, right? I wanna just double back a bit.
Yep.
Kids in Space, right? Now that's our debut EP.
Yep.
I write law for it, right? So there's more to it than just the EP, right? Because obviously you can experience it without it, but if you, by the way, thank you for buying it.
Oh, good, bro.
Like,
bro.
oh my god, I saw that, right? I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, no, bro. Like, I genuinely appreciate the effort and the energy that you put into it.
Yeah.
Like, I buy it like just because I like the music you're making. I'm a genuine fan. Like, it's not like I would support, but I genuinely appreciate the album, the energy, and the thought that you put into it, man. Like, it's
a beautiful piece of work because I want to create this universe, right? The Bad Posture universe, and one of the universes, right? The middle one, the Kids in Space universe, right? Because we have this whole big thing. So I don't know if you read the description, but the description is like a brief prelude I wrote to it, right? So it's just a draft, right? I was too lazy to fix it up.
Yeah.
So he put it up anyway. I'm like, all right, cool.
Run with
but
it.
like, I don't know how many people actually checked it out or read it, but if you read it, it talks about what the mission was before the Kids in Space liftoff, right?
Right.
Because the original thing, because it's like, it's a post-apocalyptic, it's like this future world.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like the year 3000 whatever. Because I was like really inspired by because I was listening to a lot of Deltron 3030.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm like, that's where like a lot of my raps inspired. Because if you listen to Oreo, right, the bonus track
man.
on Kids in Space, I was like listening to like a lot of Deltron.
Yeah, man. I went through a huge Deltron stage. This is going back 10 years, probably 10 years ago. So yeah, like I went a deep, and he's got so much music.
But Del the Funky Homo Sapien is like my hero. I love him.
He's got so much music, man.
His brain crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the prelude, right? I talk about so there's 3 sectors now of human civilization, right? There's high society, right? That's the rich people. You know what I mean? The people living up in like this cloud city, the high-rise buildings. Okay, you got lunchbox. That's people who still live in those scraps of the ground, right? These little communities that still, trying to survive on the ground, right? It's just like, I mean, they're surviving. It's like a middle class sort of.
Yeah.
And then you got the wave. So that's the people living under the waters, Atlantis style.
Yeah, right.
So that's 3 different, high society, they're the ones that built the space thing.
Yeah.
So the scientists, the space corporation, they have the scientists try to find like these trainees for the space mission. So they get me, right, Young Boy Petit from Lunchbox.
Yeah.
They get me, and then they get Beatrice the Kid from the Wave. They train us, right? Now, and they send us off a mission to collect resources, except, right, it's just a trial.
Right.
They chose us as a trial. So it wasn't supposed to go the way it is, but that didn't matter to us.
Yeah.
Because we sidetracked anyway.
Yeah.
So we're in space, right? We're in space, and then we go on our own journey. And that's where we get that whole self-identity thing.
Yeah.
Because we go through these things, because, we're in space, we're trying to navigate our way, because we're out of orbit.
Yeah.
And we're on the Ice Cream Sandwich 1. That's why it's called Ice Cream Sandwich. It's the name of the ship.
Right.
Right? Because at first, it was just a nonsense name. Because that's, he said that, but I decided, you know what? We're going to name our ship that because it makes sense.
That's cool.
So it's called the Ice Cream Sandwich 1.
Yeah.
Trying to navigate our way, right? We end up in a club. That's cosmic.
Yeah.
We end up in a club. We're getting high as hell. We're getting drunk. We're off it, right? And then, because like the mixing's a bit weird. Like I don't know how it sounds through different like systems, but the mixing, because I had to record in Canberra.
Yeah.
On this terrible, like I think it's like a blue mic or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah. It does the trick.
Yeah, but Doth somehow managed to like mix it well enough that it sounds right.
Shout out to Doth, man. He's doing all the heavy lifting here.
I'm like, he's carrying us for real. But yeah, so like, we're in the club, right? So I took the different kind of weird mixing of my vocals to be like we're in a different area of the club.
Right.
We're in like a little, you know, we're getting a little bit.
Yeah.
But then we start coming down from it. That's moon dance.
Yeah.
We're in our feelings.
Yeah.
You know, we're like coming, like we want to come down, and then it's like, all right, Pluto. You know, that's the credits.
Yep.
You know, it's the ending, but it also might be the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
You know, because we might revisit the space sound. We might expand on this lore that I made up. You know, like it could be anything. Because I love to just I want, because I like creating these really weird universes, even if no one cares, even if it's like incoherent. You know, it might be a mess, but the idea of it is just really cool.
Yeah.
Because I created it.
Yeah.
And that's what I care about. Like, I created this shit and I put it out. And that to me is the coolest shit ever. Like, I don't care if no one listens. I put this out.
Yeah.
I did this. Beaches did this. We made this art. And it might not be the perfect sounding shit. Like, our music, right, it's not clean.
Yeah.
Like, you listen to, you know, our mixing is not clean, you know, and we like that. We like that sort of amateurish feel to it, because at the same time, it still sounds good.
Yeah. It's like a garage feel.
Yeah.
But like you can feel the heart through it. You know, like there's so much heart and soul in it, man.
Yeah.
You know, again, like if anybody's out there, man, you can check out Kids in Space by Bad Posture. No space between Bad and Posture, but they are in space.
Yes.
Boom.
We are
Thank
in
you.
space.
Thank you, Nyan Tun, for dropping by to Umami Nights. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't noticed, we're trialing this new video format, so hopefully you can tune in. I might put it on Facebook or YouTube. I don't know, one of those, man. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Nyan, once again.
Sir.
That's us, man. Peace.